Oh, this has been a really nice reprieve not talking to you for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, when was the last time we spoke?
Besides in a group chat, like really spoke, or like just casual Kelly and Murray
6
general
weeks ago?
banter?
Like probably the last show we did.
Probably.
Yeah. And you haven't thanked me at all for the Guardians. I told you about the Guardians over wins.
Well, we haven't cashed a ticket just yet. I need you to like pump the brakes. Just like this much pump the brakes.
Remember
I don't like the mush factor, right? Like I'm not going to
I don't believe in
congratulate
stuff
you until after we cash a ticket.
So one of the things I talked about too, I like the idea of betting the Dodgers to win the division. I thought it was like free money at minus 400. I was right. I mean, they're going to win the division for like 30 games. Why didn't
Free
I do
money?
if I had your kind of money, if I was rich, I would have done that, but I don't because I'm not.
And I would never lay $4 probably on anything. I mean, there's going to be some math nerds out there that say, "Oh yeah, $4 is a steal when you're betting things like Floyd Mayweather and certain money lines." But I'm not that kind of. It's too risk adverse for me. I need something where it doesn't even have to be a plus money payout, but where it's not going to be a detrimental loss. I would be so pissed if I lost $4,000 trying to win $1,000. I would be so pissed.
I think you're too obsessed with long payouts, and like remember the UConn bet that we made, and you were so upset, and then it ended up that plus 750 was a great bet. It was a terrific bet, and you wanted to bet on some team at 100 to 1 that was going to lose in the second round.
No, I wanted to bet on a team that was like 40 to 1 that was going to lose in like the Final Four.
Final Four. Anyways, what you got me out here. You dragged me out here. What do you want to talk about here?
Well, I sent you some ideas for the rundown. You pretty much kiboshed every single one of them. I, of course, want to talk about Caitlin Clark. I know that's your favorite subject right now. Oh, we don't want to talk about Caitlin Clark? I feel like it's got to be really good for the YouTube algorithm. Caitlin Clark. All jokes aside, I think I nailed it when I said she should stay in college another year. But now she is just getting absolutely bodied every single game by a bunch of women that hate her.
Caitlin Clark she's a rookie that plays on a really bad team. Of course, it was always going to be tough for her. I think the best thing what would be the best thing for Caitlin Clark is if the Fever were terrible this year, and they got that Connecticut girl, Paige Beckers, and then they had her and Aaliyah Boston and Clark, and then they probably would be a dynasty.
But they had that one chick from South Carolina who doesn't even care that their best player's getting her ass kicked every single game. It's Louis D'Onofrio, our producer, would know who that chick's name is, but I don't because I don't really watch women's basketball.
Her last name's Boston, Aaliyah Boston.
Oh, yes, that one.
The best thing that could happen for the Fever is to struggle and get some high draft picks and then have some players around Caitlin Clark. I said that about Connor Bedard from your Blackhawks. The best thing for the Blackhawks is that they suck for a couple years, get some other really high picks. They have the second pick in the draft this year, and they get some players around them. That was one of the problems LeBron James had. He was so good right away that Cleveland had no other high picks.
That's fair.
His team was terrible. The best thing that could happen for her is to be terrible. She's going to win the Rookie of the Year. And people are actually paying attention to the WNBA. It's all they talk about.
Are you actually paying attention? When's the last WNBA game you actually watched? Not a highlight, like you watched the game. You sat on your couch and watched it.
I came in.
I'm calling bullshit.
I came in on Saturday morning, and they had the Fever and the Sky game was on. And
a replay or the live version?
No, it was the game, and I watched it in my office. It was a good game. It was the game. The Fever won by 1. And it was the game where the girl took the cheap shot on Clark at the end of it.
The girl who you should check out her tweet. It's been making circulations in my group chat. I'll leave it at that.
I haven't seen it.
Someone says that she looks like a Koopa Trooper in the section, and I almost died because she has a beanie on, and you know the Koopa Trooper, the mushroom, like the angry mushroom
from Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good movie. That's really
good. It's a great movie.
No, I haven't. I don't know anything about that. But here's one thing. I've been asked this question a few times. So far, it's not translating to more betting on the WNBA. We still have the wise guys. They bet mostly the girls' totals, first half, second half totals.
I think girls is a little derogatory. I'm going to need you to fix that. I don't want you to get Pat McAfee'd.
The women's NBA totals, and they bet the first half and the second half. They do quite well on those, by the way. Yeah.
Here's the problem. I get that same information, but I can get down like $200, like $100. And then, oh, by the way, I can't ever get that same number. I get like 2.5 points off that number, and then I can't even get any action down. So it's at a point in time, if you don't get it right away, it's almost not worth chasing, if you will.
There's a reason why the limits are low on WNBA first and second half totals. That's all I can tell you, because there's almost no recreational money on it. And the guys that are betting it, or women that are betting it, are very sharp. Very sharp. But we have not seen that yet. Caitlin Clark has been good. It's the first time I can remember people coming into the sportsbook here and asking for a game that we didn't have on TV. You know, that never really happened before. Because we always throw out the ESPN games. We have all the Las Vegas Aces games. But we never really had people asking about WNBA until Caitlin Clark. And the attendance at her games is really high. And she's actually playing in a game at T-Mobile Arena next month, which will be kind of cool.
But yeah, every away game she goes to seems like the tickets are a little pricier, but I'm going to go ahead and say that the brokers that bought all the Indiana Fever tickets are crying in their Wheaties because selling them for $6 in the nosebleeds. I mean, I don't know what they actually expected, but apparently they thought the demand was going to be significantly higher.
Are you watching the WNBA? So why are you making fun of me for not watching? You don't even watch. You're a woman. You're supposed to support.
Why would I want to watch an awful product? Why would I want to watch a bunch of women who are insufferable and treat each other like garbage?
The women's game has improved a lot. The players are a lot better now.
Okay.
I'm telling you, they're a lot better now.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, what could be better for any sport than having a superstar player
and having a bunch of eyeballs on you?
I don't know.
And then you still can't act right.
When I was a kid, golfers didn't really make a lot of money. I'm not saying they were living hand to mouth, but they weren't all millionaires. And then this kid from Stanford named Tiger Woods showed up on the PGA Tour. And now even the bottom of the PGA Tour guys are flying around on private planes.
Yeah.
So there's nothing better for a sport. You could say the same thing about Magic, Bird, and then Jordan in the NBA. That's the best thing for a sport, is to have a huge superstar that increases visibility for the league. It's very odd to me that everybody seems to hate her for increasing the visibility of their product.
It's mind-boggling, actually, and I choose not to engage with it. This was already longer than I wanted to engage with it. I mainly said it as a joke to you because I felt like there's a lot more important things going on. We got 80 days until college football season starts, John Murray. Like, chop.
Didn't you have a countdown on college football that was wrong? Like, didn't you? Like, you started the countdown on X. Somebody was like, no, that's not even correct.
Okay, so someone was like, are you sure this is right? And I Googled, I knew the first game was in Dublin. Okay, FSU, Georgia Tech, Dublin, says noon on this date. I go back to the same countdown calculator that I had put it in the first time, and it was like 5 days less. I'm like, son of a bitch. So anyway, I was wrong.
Interesting. Disappointment for me to start the college football season. They're playing the Penn State-West Virginia game at noon. That sucks. That's a big game. That game should be at 8 Eastern in Morgantown. Because
for Morgantown, that's how long it takes you guys to think about how crappy the energy is going to be in that stadium at noon Eastern. It's just going to be awful.
No, the kids will all be hammered by that.
Nah, the kids are just not fun until nighttime. I've realized that. I've only been to nighttime games in Morgantown, but the energy, you guys need that. That's, I would say, a couple points towards your home field advantage. The difference between a noon and an 8 p.m. game.
I give Penn State credit for going to Morgantown, but I'm disappointed by the time of that game. We also have USC LSU that same week here at Allegiant Stadium. That'll be a cool game. It'll be very interesting to see USC this year without your guy Caleb Williams. What are they going to look like? What was that?
Relax. Lincoln Riley is always going to have a good quarterback.
Yeah,
the problem is how good is their defense going to be?
Oh, their defense was terrible last year. But you blamed everything on Caleb Williams, did you not?
I didn't blame anything on Caleb. I said he wasn't a very good leader. I said I don't deal well with like crybaby, woe is me type players.
Yeah, no.
Especially those that are supposed to have a set of balls.
Oh, can you say balls on this show?
I can say whatever I want on the show.
I know that's not true. We got people here.
We do.
Okay, let's go. You want to talk about football contests? Is that
yes? Well,
what do you want to do first? Because I've got.
We want to do the super contest first because we would like to keep our friends and family at the Westgate, my favorite hotel in Las Vegas, very happy. So I think we should talk about their super contest first.
Super contest entries start on July 1, $1,000 buy-in, 11 in-season contests. So for $1,000, you actually get yourself into 12 contests. And then there's a super contest golf weekend. That's August 16, August 17. The golf tournament is on August 17th.
We will have a live show that week. Thursday.
Is that official?
Yes. Yep. Yes. Yeah. Well, I already bought Louis' plane ticket. I hope it's official. No thanks to you. So anyway,
that's bullshit. You know what? That now I'm actually like I'm almost annoyed because I said that was the last time me and you spoke. I said I would get one of Louis' tickets with my points, and you were going to get the other one with your points. Southwest. Me and Kelly both have a lot of Southwest points, and then you went out and bought them both. And then you shove it in my face.
It was just easier that way. It was just easier just to do one full swoop, and it made more sense. You can transfer me Southwest points anytime your heart desires, John Murray. But anyway, Louis D'Onofrio is going to be out. Is he going to be on your golf team?
I don't know. I was going to play with like Andy, Andy Samuelson, your friend.
Well, last year you didn't play.
I didn't
or
play.
2 years ago, dude. Yeah, and it really pissed me off because I was like, this is lame. John Murray, what are you doing? Like,
it's so hot out there, man.
Oh, so hot in the city that I chose to live in the last 20 years. It's hot.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily choose to play golf on August 17th. It's hot. I played golf on Sunday. It was nice.
So I will bring the Viva Seltzer, and you will be happy. It will be nice and refreshing, and you will not cry about the heat. I am not going to play golf, but I think what I'm going to do is what I did 2 years ago. If Ariel Epstein joins me, we're just going to get our own car and then just drive around like complete and utter assholes. And maybe Mario will enjoy us because, well, Ellie did not.
Absolutely not. Hold on a second. Couple of things. Don't bring any Viva Seltzer. I already have about 1,000 Viva Seltzer cans in my garage.
Why aren't you drinking them?
I have drank some of them. I like the elderberry. Okay. Ooh. Then Mario is a pug. He's got a smushed in face. He can't be out there in the heat.
In Vegas for like a good 8.5 years. We know how smush face dogs operate. He will be fine for a spin.
He's my baby boy. I'd like him to be in the air conditioning where he's nice and secure.
Do they have one of those golf carts that you can like get air conditioning? You know how like they have the ones with the little propane heaters? Maybe they got, never mind.
No, okay. I do not know.
Anyway, so Super Contest weekend, that is going to be fun. Thursday, we're going to do the show. Saturday is golf.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, we got Super Contest Gold, which I think is the best contest in town, to be honest with you. $5,000 buy-in. I think the winner last year got about $400,000. I think that's the most serious contest. That seems to be the one that all the real serious players get into. People that have Kelly-like financial backing.
I haven't decided if I'm going to pay to enter that contest or not yet. $5,000 is a lot for a sport that I don't love. Now, if it was a college football contest, I think I would ante up the money. But because it's NFL, it's just so and here's the thing. Yeah. I know some people love it, some people hate it. Winner take all. You know what would happen, John Murray? I would get like second or third place, and then I would jump off the Westgate. Anyway, so yes, it's going to be a really fun weekend.
It doesn't sound that fun. Do we have to go to dinner?
You don't have to go to dinner. I'm going to Edge Steakhouse. Me, Chris Thurston, his wife Amanda, and Brett. I already got that reservation booked.
Okay.
And that's all I have planned for then. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
That's it. What other notes do you have on the Super Contest?
I thought you wanted to talk. Well, that's it for the Super Contest. I thought you wanted to have a big contest discussion.
Well, I do want to have a big contest discussion because like right now is like contest season and people are going to start getting signed up for things. And you and I really need to decide what we're going to do with the Splash guys in terms of our contest. And we haven't really talked about it yet. Well, I think we got to do a Survivor contest.
Well, you know that I have always wanted to do this loser Survivor contest where you have to pick a loser every week. And I wanted to call it the biggest loser, which I think is funny.
I think we should call it mini losers.
Many losers is fine too. So you would, I never, until this morning, I never looked at this. This is NFL week 1, right? NFL week 1. So in my contest, you would probably pick the Patriots, I guess. Although the Patriots are going to be terrible this season, right? So you might want to take them.
You got to figure it out. I actually have not started looking at NFL.
I know you have.
Dug very, very deep into college football, but I do think that we're getting to the point now. We got OTAs going around. I mean, there's some guys that need their contracts still a little ironed out. CeeDee Lamb, did he get paid today and I missed it? T. Higgins, who else? Brandon Ayuk. There's a couple of star-studded players, but for the most part, we have a general idea of who's going to be running these offenses. Unfortunately for my Broncos, I think it's a lose-lose, but that's beside the point.
Who's the Denver quarterback?
Well, they drafted Bo Nix, and then somehow I know it's not funny, and I should have bet on it because I knew it. I was sitting in the car with Brett, and I was like, "These mother are gonna draft Bo Nix." And Brett's like, "How do you know?" I go, "They always pick some loser white quarterback who is like mediocre in college, and then he always flops in Denver." And sure enough, I'm like, it's going to be Bo Nix. And he was like plus $4. I can't believe I didn't bet it. I was very mad at myself because as soon as they announced it, I'm like, I told you. I knew it. I've seen this dog and pony show too many times. This is what they do. So, but is it going to be worse than Zach? I don't know.
Zach Wilson? No, he's not going to be worse than Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's terrible.
Well, then why did the Broncos pick up Zach Wilson?
I don't know.
They traded.
Those are the two quarterback options. Zach Wilson.
Yes. So there's going to be a lot of horrible teams this year. I think the Broncos are going to be one of them. The Patriots are going to be one of them. But no, I haven't really started to dive in super deep. Actually, this is not a paid promotion. Shout out to my friend Warren Sharp. He puts together a very thick phone book-esque manual, and usually when his stuff comes out, it's when I really start to do a deep dive in NFL because I just care about college so much more. So you want to do I want us to do okay. Loser. I gotta see if Splash Sports has the technology
all it is just reversing the winner.
Correct. I would think, but I'm going to talk with those guys. I'm going to see what they think we can do.
What do you think the buy-in should be? Somebody like you. So you've got to remember, you got to think down to the level of people like myself, people like Louis D'Onofrio, working class people. We can't be in a contest for $5,000. Like where do you think this contest should be set at for the buy-in?
So that's where I'm wondering, do we want to do it where, because it's a Survivor, you can have like 50 entries. Yeah. So we make it like a $50 buy-in or $100 buy-in. I think we should let our audience pick. I think we should let our audience say like, okay, because that's who's going to enter, right? Like our followers and our audience, some of our friends, some of our family members.
Oh, no family members. That sounds illegal. Our audience is good.
Is that illegal? Your brother lives in a legal state.
Virginia? That's a legal state?
Yeah. You can play Survivor in Virginia.
What was I saying? I don't know. I lost my train.
We were talking about buy-in. I think we should let our audience pick.
Listeners are good. You know, they give us good advice. Kelly doesn't like it. Like you talking about the Connecticut to win the national championship. But our listeners have really steered us right. And I think I'm fine with that. We'll let them decide the buy-in for loser Survivor. Pick a loser.
Again, little asterisk. I have a meeting with those guys this week. I will ask if we can do a pick the loser. We're gonna call it mini loser. See right here. I got it written down on my little mini notebook.
You don't like the biggest loser, like the show?
Biggest loser, fine.
Well, think about
biggest.
Maybe again, let the people vote. I trust the people. They're good.
Yeah, but it's because there's many losers because you have to pick many losers throughout the course of the season, just like there's many losers on social media.
Oh, no shit. Oh, my God. Bunch of losers. Okay, fine. Many losers is good. Many losers. That is better.
We'll see. We'll see. But let me see if they have the technology to do that. But I do want to do a survivor contest with you. But here's my thing with week 1. You guys have your lines out.
We do. I have them in front of me.
Okay, can we peruse through them? I do not have a copy.
Why not?
The Westgate didn't send me one.
You knew we were doing the show.
I know, but I haven't looked at NFL yet, so okay. Fine. Here, let me give me
a game. Excuse me. Give me a game. I'll give you the line.
I'm not giving you a game. Just don't be the way that you are.
Well, I can't really help that.
Thursday night, I know the Chiefs play. Thursday night, I know the Chiefs play
they play Baltimore, but
the Ravens. And that's all I know.
The Thursday game and the Friday game, which is in Brazil, by the way.
There's a Friday game in Brazil?
There's a Friday game in Brazil between Green Bay and Philadelphia. So those 2 games are not really going to be considerations for survivor contests.
Correct.
Those are really even games. I'm not telling people what to do, but I don't know.
Coin flips.
That'd be
okay, here's a little side note. I got told that a game that I was arguing about today was not a coin flip because one team was a 3.5 point favorite. And I said, okay, that's probably like the edge of the coin flip. But you would say anything under a field goal favorite at home is a coin flip, correct?
Yeah. I mean, would you really be surprised at all if Baltimore beat Kansas City? I wouldn't.
No.
Baltimore was better than Kansas City last year. And they should have, if they hadn't totally blown the first half, they would have won the AFC Championship. Correct. And let's keep in mind, Kansas City lost on that first Thursday last year to Detroit.
Yes, they
Kansas City, they're one of these teams. They've become a dynasty now. They don't care about the regular season. Everything in Kansas City is to get geared up for the playoffs. They don't care about the regular season. So would I be surprised if Baltimore beat them? I would not.
Okay, so let's actually go down to somebody that's not a 1 or 2 point pick 'em. Let's go down. Panthers 5.5 point dogs at the Saints is interesting. Panthers, what are your thoughts on this team?
Well, I think Carolina will be better this season. I think we've already seen sharp people play them over their win total.
Oh.
They should be better. I mean, I think that's not exactly saying a lot. I'm pretty sure they had the worst record in the NFL in consecutive years. And Chicago fleeced them in that trade a couple years ago. That's why the Bears have built this loaded roster. I never know what to make in New Orleans. So I'd be nervous using that game. That's a division game.
Yeah, I don't really like using division games, but this is a different strategy. If we have to pick the loser and we can only pick the loser once, I don't want to use the Patriots.
But don't you think that Carolina is going to be a team that will be a big dog, a bigger dog than this several times? I know I just said sharp guys have played them over, but they're playing them over like 5 wins, right? So
yeah,
the expectation is still that Carolina is probably not going to be very good.
I would agree with that as well. But they don't really play anybody that's that. I mean, they play they don't. At the Raiders, at the Bears, at the Commanders.
Football team.
Okay, so we'd save the Panthers to play at the Eagles on December 8th, maybe. That's really difficult.
Yeah.
Because I think you saved the Patriots for September 29th, which is what, week 3 at the 49ers?
Well,
week 4? Is that week 4?
The Patriots look to me like they are, I don't want to say tanking, but let's call it rebuilding.
What was last year?
I don't think that they meant to be that bad last season.
Oh.
But now they've got a rookie quarterback. They've got a new head coach. They certainly look like they're going to be in for a long season, especially when you look at that division. Buffalo's going to be really good again. Miami has made the playoffs the last couple of years. And the Jets, in theory, will have Aaron Rodgers back in a do-or-die season for Robert Saleh. That I don't see much room for the Patriots in the AFC East.
I agree. I think I think the number 1 pick week 1 is going to be the Bengals. And I don't know why people want to use them that early, but I could see that being the most popular pick for traditional, we'll call them traditional survivor contests. Not many losers, traditional Survivor contest.
And the other one I think will be, I'll skip down a little bit to the afternoon games, Seattle, especially if Denver is playing Knicks. If Denver starts Knicks, a rookie quarterback on the road, first game, that's a lot to ask. I think Seattle will be a pretty used team. And Buffalo and San Francisco will be as well. But do you really want to use San Francisco?
Or Buffalo? No.
Or Buffalo. I mean, San Francisco.
I wouldn't want to use the Bengals necessarily either week 1. So you're right. I could see Seattle being the number 2 pick for
that'll be a common one. I think
there are some really coin flip games. I mean, the Colts, 3-point home dog to the Texans, CJ Stroud sophomore season. The Jaguars 3-point dogs at the Dolphins. There's some really interesting, really tough ones for week 1.
I like the Colts this season. We'll talk about it later on the show. I think the Colts are going to be good this year.
Why do you want to talk about it later on the show? Do you have a segue?
No, I actually, because I know nothing about the NFL, I really don't. I haven't done anything. I decided for once I would look at the mailbag questions before I.
You did? You're not supposed to look at the mailbag questions.
Kelly, I don't know anything about the NFL. I've been watching real sports the last 2 months.
I haven't done anything. That's what makes the show so funny about NFL in June.
The show is not supposed to be funny. The show is not a comedy. I've been watching baseball and soccer and like real sports. I have not been watching. I don't care about the NFL. Do you want to talk about my idea for a college football contest? I'd like to.
Yes. So what I really want and what I think the market.
I want people to tell me what they think of that idea. I think it's a good idea.
Here's the thing. We got to see if the Splash guys have the technology to do it. If not, I don't know how to do it other than manually. They're working on it. I can confirm that. I want to do a college football contest. If yours isn't available, which we can discuss yours, but if yours isn't available, whether it's, and maybe it's just something I do since I love college football so much. What do you think of a traditional, but it's against the spread, whatever the lines are, let's just call it Wednesday at 5 p.m. they lock. Okay. And then you have to also do confidence points. So it's, let's say 7 college football games against the spread a week, but then you have to rank them 1 through 7.
Yeah, I like the confidence points. Why not just have a money ball pick that's worth double?
I have never heard of that. Can you please elaborate, please?
Oh, don't you watch the 3-point shootout at the NBA All-Star game?
I've seen it.
The rack is worth double. So
didn't know that.
Let's say you pick 5 games a week against the spread and you designate one of them to be worth double the points. That would be interesting.
So each other one would be worth 1 point, and then that one would be worth 2.
Because if you do 1 through 7 values, then your 1 and 2 picks almost don't even matter. They don't really mean much. But that's what's going to happen to me. I'm going to win the 1 and 2 picks and then lose the 7. It's like I can't wait to listen to you complain about that. That'll be really fun. I don't have a problem with the college football contest. I think it's a good idea. Because I do pretty much every contest out here. I like Survivor more than Pick'em contests because I like the fact that when I get knocked out, I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's kind of a relief. So that's why I had thrown out the college football Survivor idea. But I know you like the Pick'em idea. And if we're already doing a loser Survivor NFL contest, maybe we should do a Pick'em for college football.
Well, so you can explain your idea. What you want to do for college football. And then again, I got to see if they can actually implement it, but I think it's a wonderful idea.
It's a Survivor contest. It starts in week 1, not week 0. It's only FBS games. Only 2 FBS teams playing against each other. You got to pick a winner, no point spread every week of the regular season. Once you use a team, you can't use them again. You got to pick, in Thanksgiving weekend, how they divide the schedule Friday, Saturday. That week, you got to pick 1 Friday game and 1 Saturday game. You got to pick 1 bowl game. And then you got to pick a first-round game, a quarterfinal game, a semifinal game, and the national championship game. So it's going to be difficult to get through the regular season because you can't really use any of the big teams, any of the Georgia, the Ohio State, Alabama. If you blow them, you're not going to have anybody left in the postseason.
Well, because you need so there's 12 teams that get in. You
12 team playoff, I think. I mean, my brother threw a wrench in my plans. He was out
because you would need you would need to save at least 6 teams.
Well, you would need a team. So the one thing that makes it a little bit easier is the first round, you've got 8 teams, and there's 4 teams with a bye. So the first round, you could really use any of the 8, and then you could pick one of the bye teams in the quarterfinals. But then it would get really difficult because now you're in the semifinals and you got to save somebody for the championship game. It would be impressive to me if anyone made it to the end.
That's what makes it so freaking hard.
Yeah, it would be. I would be impressed if anyone made it all the way to the end, because you'd have to navigate all those regular season weeks, knowing you've got to save somebody for Friday and Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend, and then get through each playoff round. It would be really tough.
Okay, so what we need from our lovely audience and listeners is to please just drop us a little comment in the YouTube channel. $25, $50, $100, $500, $1,000, whatever your threshold would be.
$1,000.
Kelly, maybe we got some whales that listen to the show, John Murray.
Regular people.
People fly out to Vegas and give the Westgate $1,000 every single year.
That's you're in 12 contests. It's a good deal.
I didn't say it's not, but that's my point. If you're willing to do that, and this one, you just log right in and you enter the Kelly and Murray contest. All I'm saying is that, or do we make the price, or excuse me, the price point less so that they can have multiple entries?
I'm all for multiple entries. I think it's a good thing. So I'd be fine with that. But I'll let the listeners are usually smarter than us about these things. I'll just let them decide what we do. They're better, I think.
Okay, what else you got for me?
NBA Finals start on Thursday night. We're going to be big Celtics fans. So
that's not what I wanted to hear. You told me that I had to give you an odds boost, and I gave you Kyrie, and I said I wanted him 25-1. We need the Mavericks because he can't win MVP if the Mavericks don't win.
If you wanted to use Dallas, and I nixed it because I said, what? We already have so much liability on Dallas. I didn't want to add to it. And then you gave me Kyrie MVP, which is an interesting play, actually, because Kyrie's going against his old team. He's been playing well, but that team runs through.
And if he play, I know Luka is obviously the front runner if Dallas were to win the finals. But I do think the storyline is what makes Kyrie rather interesting, right? And he
definitely does.
I think that if he somehow, let's say a game goes to overtime, he hits a game-winning shot. Let's say he goes off for 2. Let's say it ends up going to Dallas wins 4-6. They end up winning, out of the 4 games, and he goes off and wins them 2 of those games. I think it's a real possibility he can win. And I thought at 25-1 there was some really nice value on him. But again, yes, it's probably going to be Luka, or if it's Boston, J-Rue, but we'll see.
Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Porzingis. Boston has the best team in the NBA. We've known that for a while, but Dallas looks pretty live. They had a tough road to the final. We did very well when they won the West. We took a lot of money.
They were a dog. So now I think here's my one caveat, and I'm not going to let this bother me.
They were only a dog in the conference final. I don't think they were a dog in the other 2 rounds. But they have had a tough road though. There's no doubt about that. And Boston's had a pretty easy path with some injuries, although they haven't had Porzingis, I think, since the first round. And Boston,
that's very true.
Boston is a team that they lose interest every now and then. They don't pay attention, and they cough up a home game. They did it in game 2 against Miami. They did it in game 2 against Cleveland. They should have lost game 1 against Indiana. They should have never won that game. They got to be minding their P's and Q's here against Dallas. I know that. Plus, I don't really trust Joe Mazzulla, fellow West Virginia Mountaineer. We'll see. We need Boston. And then I think we got a really good Stanley Cup final this year. Kelly's hometown Panthers against Edmonton, Connor McDavid and Edmonton. And we do great on the Oilers and the Panthers.
So I need to know your thoughts on the Oilers fan.
Oh, I thought that was hilarious. But why? Isn't that a little like are you allowed to do that and film that video and post it online? I mean, isn't that like sexual harassment?
I mean, if you openly just put them out there, I can't believe how viral this lady's went. I mean, like, she had some nice boobs, but good grief, it was like on my timeline for like 5 days straight.
Yeah, you got to be careful. That's not really safe for work. The Edmonton.
Not safe for work. Good point.
Yeah.
I got my friend's dog in my office, and she won't stop barking. And I got this. Look at this one, though. Look at this one.
Oh. Yeah. My dogs are great, man. I put a couple bucks in my pocket if Florida wins, Kelly's hometown team. So I'd like to see the Panthers win. That's
Jim, do you want to fly in and go to a game?
I can't afford something like that. Are the tickets expensive?
I don't know. We went last year against the Golden Knights, and it wasn't too bad. We sat in the I forget what it's called, but they call it like the Beach Club. Maybe it's like the Corona Beach Club or something. Maybe I can get it to be the Viva Beach Club. I'm going to work on that. But yeah, we sat up there, and it was decent seats for what it was, and drink your face off, and it was fun.
Game 1 is Saturday night. I think it's in Florida, if Kelly is so inclined to go. Do you want to do the mailbag segment?
You have the Westgate has no opinion on that Stanley Cup final.
No, we actually we do really well on both teams. So kudos to the guys. We're big winners either way. So I'm now, of course, game 1 is what, 3 days from now, 4 days from now. So it's possible that somebody can make.
What is today? Tuesday?
Today's Tuesday. Somebody can make a large wager between now and Saturday. But as of right now, we win big either way. So.
Okay. Well, that means that you guys did a good job in your risk room. So you should maybe give those guys some good credit because, we know you never like to say nice things about me.
Give which guys credit? The risk guys?
Hockey guys. The hockey risk guys.
No, I like a few of the risk guys. I like Randy. What?
Why are you the way that you are?
I like
These Chase. Guys work their asses off for you. Oh, Chase. Yes, you love Chase.
I like Chase. I like Chase. He's a nice kid. He's a little opinionated, but he's a good kid. Yeah, I like some of the risk guys.
Chase lives in La La Land.
No, he doesn't. He's just a young kid. He'll get it one day. He'll get it. Mailbag.
Okay, let's see what we got here. We had a couple typos, so shocker.
We always have typos. I mean, what's the level of education of our listeners?
All right, Seahawks 2611 on X says, I've heard John talk about making money in contests in Vegas. Tell him to talk a little strategy.
See, I do like every contest every year, and I've maybe like cash big twice in 15 years. So I don't know that I'm really somebody to listen to.
I won the mini contest at the Westgate over a decade ago at this point in time. And let me tell you, the best strategy is just pick winners.
Yeah, that's very effective. I had a very good NFL season last year, and I did finish the money in the Circa Millions 2 years ago. I don't really know anything about the NFL. I think it's kind of silly. So I'm really just looking at the market. I'm looking at the way the lines are moving. I'm looking at what numbers certain books have on the games that can be telling at times. And I'm looking at where I see sharp money come in. That's really all I'm doing. I don't have an opinion on these games, and I could care less who wins. I'm just reading the market.
Okay. Wise guys.
And then I give Kelly all the picks. She ignores. I mean, I probably never.
I can read the market too on Mondays. Come on.
Mondays? Why would you look at it on Monday?
You came to give your best bet on the show that I had already bet the game.
Monday, you're looking at the market for Sunday. That's
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We do the show Thursday. We got to figure that out too, which day we're going to do the show next year. Okay, Wise Guy Wager on X says, welcome back. What is your best NFL season win prop? Give me a sleeper for the Super Bowl, John Murray.
For the Super Bowl? I don't know. Won't Kansas City just win it again because they have Mahomes? Yeah, I think so. I always like the Bills. Because I like Josh Allen. I
don't think the Bills are a sleeper, though.
No. Well, sleepers don't win the Super Bowl.
True. They don't.
It's going to be a team like the farthest down you'd want to go would be Cincinnati. I think is 16-1. They could win.
What about the Lions? They have drastically improved year over year.
They're not a sleeper. They're right around there. They probably have.
I call them a sleeper, but I would call them like better. Like they're it's like, give me somebody that's better than 10-1. Like I don't want a plus 350 to win the Super Bowl.
The Bengals are 16-1. The Bills are 14-1. They're far down there. But the best.
I'm usually a year off. Remember, I had the Ravens last year, so everybody should probably bet the Ravens to win the Super Bowl this year. That's always fun.
The best team in the NFL is San Francisco. Again,
yes.
I think they were the best team 2 years ago. Brock Purdy got hurt. I think they were the best team last year. They coughed up the game to Kansas City. But I think if you want to go further down the board, the Bengals, if Joe Burrow can stay healthy, I like Joe Burrow. Prop bets I like the Colts. You can get them around 3-1 to win the South. I like the Colts. I like that coach a lot. And
well, I like AR-15 as well, but last year, week 1, he just totally crushed me with my best bet because he dove head first into the end zone. Like, has he learned his lesson?
They almost won the division last year, and that coach's first season with Gardner Minshew playing quarterback. That guy's a good coach. They've got some good players there. That division's pretty open. That's one place.
Do you also think it's because the Texans regress? I think you're going to be paying a big time premium for CJ Stroud last year. Remember, I was doing a lot of the stuff with the guys with the different various prop bets, and we just kept cashing CJ Stroud over every single week. It was just, I think the bookmakers are going to overinflate him a ton this year. Do I think he's a good quarterback? Yes. But we have seen years past where defensive coordinators get enough tape on these guys. Life makes it like not as easy as year 1.
I like CJ Stroud. I think he had the worst list of best quarterbacks in the NFL that I've ever seen. Did you see his personal list?
I think he made himself like number 3.
Yeah, the worst list I've ever seen. It was like Jalen Hurts was in there, Dak Prescott. Terrible list. But I like.
Don't tell the Eagles fans that listen to the show. They will be very mad at you for the Jalen Hurts slander. At least he didn't put Caleb Williams on there.
Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott are not among the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL. That's ridiculous. I like the Colts. Long shot Super Bowl, maybe the Bengals. Kelly already knows this. I'm going to talk myself into betting on San Diego, the Chargers, or the LA Chargers, because their coach is a guy I like to call Coach.
I think that is a really bad idea. Okay.
I love Jim Harbaugh. Hey,
next question.
And they've got a quarterback that's better than Prescott or Hurts. We're talking about Justin Herbert.
Yes. Brett_Miller92 on X says, any futures on the U.S. Open at Pinehurst that is popping out the team?
To the team.
Where do these guys learn how to type?
No, that's an honest mistake. He probably meant popping out to the team. Didn't they just do the U.S. Open at Pinehurst a few years ago?
I don't really recall.
I think they're going to bet. I think they're going to bet Xander Schauffele, who just won the PGA, and I think they'll probably bet Brooks Koepka, who's done well at this event, and then of course they're all going to bet on Scotty Scheffler. That'll be who they read the most.
Why wouldn't you want to bet on Scotty?
I was happy that Xander Schauffele won the PGA because I was out of the country, and I was like, when I saw that he won, I thought to myself, great. Because I'm not smart enough to have ever bet him. I never would have bet him. So that saved me money. Congratulations to Xander Schauffele, PGA.
Oh, John Murray.
I think he'll get bet at the U.S. Open. I do.
All right. Liberty_just1 CE. I'm guessing that's supposed to be Justice. Which NFL team is most overvalued going into the season? Ooh.
Well, I hate to say it, but it's going to be Houston. Because there's an expectation that Stroud is going to take a step forward, which he might. Stroud looked pretty darn good last season, but I think they're going to be a little inflated. They got Stephon Diggs, who it seemed like the Bills were happy to get rid of, from what I could tell. I mean, I thought Allen made the throw of the season in that divisional playoff game against Kansas City that went right.
Thanks for reminding me.
Oh, I mean, that was one of the best throws I've ever seen. It went right through Diggs' hands, then he's throwing everybody under the bus after the game. I don't know about I don't know about Stephon Diggs. I think the Texans are going to be a little overvalued. And then this one pains me, but I have to say Detroit. I think that they'll be a little bit overvalued. And Jared Goff. Jared Goff's another guy that's better than those players on.
Well, here's the problem. The Bears aren't going to be any good. The Vikings aren't going to be any good.
Well, Green
Bay's not like they have a lot of Green Bay is going to be good. I would agree Green Bay is going to be good.
That the Bears aren't going to be any good. I'm not so sure.
I think they're going to be extremely overvalued, per usual. They're like the Dallas Cowboys of the NFC North. Every year, everybody gets their hopes up, and every year, another disappointment.
Yeah, that's kind of true. But I do think Detroit. I'll go with Detroit and Houston. We'll see. This is the test for Stroud. I mean, if he can actually take a step forward this season, then that means he's on a path to being one of the truly elite players in the league. So big year for CJ Stroud. He's got a lot around him.
What do you think about the Philadelphia Eagles? Do you think they're going to be a little overvalued again?
No, I think they'll bounce back. I don't really think Jalen Hurts is that good. And I'm picking on Jalen Hurts, but I got more questions about Sirianni because he lost his offensive coordinator and his defensive coordinator after that Super Bowl season, and the team kind of, I don't want to say fell apart, but they kind of fell apart at the end of the year.
I had their season win total under, and they were winning games that they should have never won. Thank you, the Bills. Thank you to other teams. I have just now blacked out of my memory that you choked away at.
I had a stretch on Nesson with Sammy Panianovich, and the game that finally broke my winning streak was Eagles plus 2.5 at Arrowhead, a game they never should have won. And then you mentioned the Bills game where the Bills got a really raw deal from the officials. They were very lucky to win a game against Dallas. I think in Dallas. I might have that wrong, but in
Dallas.
The wheels finally came off for them at the end of the year, and then they just got thumped in the playoffs by Tampa Bay, first round of the playoffs. Let's see what happens with them this year. They've got, if the Niners have the most talented roster in the NFL, the Eagles probably have the second most talented roster in the NFL. So
okay, and then last year, another team that I faded was the New York Jets, and that was because the Hard Knocks curse, all the overhype surrounding this team. I love Aaron Rodgers, so of course I wasn't cheering for him to get hurt, but I look at that going, all right, that is why I cashed that season win total under. Otherwise, I never would have in probably a million years with Zach Wilson under center. What are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers coming back from a massive injury? And
I don't know.
Are the Jets getting a little too much love in the marketplace? I mean, they're 5.5-point dogs that first Monday night at San Fran. And
Aaron Rodgers is like my age. Remember when Kobe Bryant, who was one of the most durable and one of the best players in the NBA for 20 years, he tore his Achilles, and when he came back, he was not good. So let's see what Aaron Rodgers. Football and basketball are different, but it's a lot to ask Aaron Rodgers to come back from that injury at his age. I don't know. I'm not so sure that – I don't know what the Jets are expecting this year from Rodgers. That's a lot to ask at his age. I mean, he's got to be 40, 41 years old.
Yeah, he's 40. Okay. What else, John Murray?
Oh, I like you know who else I kind of like? The Giants. I like the Giants.
What? Danny Dimes?
No,
you have some –
I don't like Danny Dimes, but I think the Giants –
well, he is their quarterback.
I know that, but there are other positions on the field. I like some of what they did in the offseason. I think that they'll go over 6.5 wins.
6.5 wins. Okay. All right. The excited Generals _George is excited that the dynamic duo will be back for another season. Who is Batman and who is Robin? Also, I have a Mavs futures ticket, a dime at 30-1. Would you hedge?
Well, that says 3-1.
If you got the second email from our lovely producer, he said that it's 30-1, and he is sorry for the typo.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, John. I didn't see that. Kelly is Batman. Because remember, Bruce Wayne.
Why am I Batman?
Well, let me explain. Bruce Wayne was really rich. Remember, he lived at stately Wayne Manor. He had a butler, Alfred. And you're like a bigger star than me. You get top billing. So it would have to be you. Now, so when I read that email, I thought it said 3-1. My bad. I didn't check my emails after that, I guess. Yeah, I would hedge. If I had to.
At 30-1, I would hedge as well.
Yes.
I would try to find the cheapest Boston money line for, I don't know.
Yeah.
$7,000 somewhere in there.
I think Generals George is in a position where he's got to lock up some money. He's got to win something. So I know Kelly doesn't like hedging, but I can't hear you.
That's because I'm muted. Sorry. At a 30-1 ticket, I didn't want somebody to hear me clicking around the background. At a 30-1 ticket, I think you have to hedge for a dime. I think I'd have to do the math, but it'd probably come out to be something like 11 grand to win 7 grand or somewhere in that
I don't think it's going to be quite that generous, but
no, it's not that generous. Like I said, I don't have a calculator in front of me.
It's okay.
I don't even know what the current money line is. Full disclosure over at the
our
Westgate.
Series price here is Boston 220.
220. Okay, so definitely not that generous. So you got to be closer to 15. Eek.
Yeah, and then you don't know what people like what they're working with. I would think if this guy has a bankroll where he can bet $1,000 at 30-1, that's a pretty healthy future bet. So I would think he probably has a pretty big bankroll, but sometimes people don't have the ability to hedge. Like, you ever see those tweets where people get ripped on Twitter or X for doing the early cash out?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah,
I rip people for that all the time.
Hold on a second. But then I see people in the comments who are like, why didn't you just bet $150,000 at another book? It's like, well, that guy probably doesn't have $150,000 to make the bet.
That is correct. Yes, I would agree with that.
Yes.
But I would be trying to do anything in my power to be able to hedge that. Okay, then let me play the other side of the coin. And I don't know if you're allowed to comment on this. Because there was such a layoff between the Western and Eastern Conference final games because they were all but sweeps.
Mm-hmm.
You have the ability to sell that ticket on a secondary market.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, in this case, I would probably just look for the best series price on the Celtics and lay it. Like I said, if he's got money to bet 1,000 at 30-1, I got to think he's got a bankroll to make a bet at minus 210 or whatever the best. I don't know what the best price is. Somewhere around there.
Use the WagerTalk odds screen, wagertalk.com/odds. You will find the best money line price for your shopping.
Maybe get yourself into a position where if Boston wins, you net $5,000. Then no matter what, you couldn't really be too disappointed.
Correct. Okay. In Chunter 8 on X says, do you guys bet games of the year that drop early? I have a few that I really like, but hate having my money tied up for that long, especially at minus 110. Ding, ding, ding. No, I do not bet games of the year.
Do you think his handle is N Chunter or NC Hunter? I bet it's NC Hunter.
NC Hunter 8. Fine, whatever. I don't know. It's the way it's capitalized. It threw me off.
I used to look at the college football games of the year. You could get really good value on that, but that's very competitive. There's a lot of guys that put in a lot of work on that, and they beat you to the numbers. You really have to be very motivated to do that, and you need a big bankroll to tie up that money until probably late in the fall. But there's a lot of value on that if you know what you're doing. So hats off. We have guys that bet those games.
Absolutely. There are some games that I will look at the Westgate, John Murray or one of the guys over there will send me.
That's Ed Salmon's doing those numbers. And
they'll send me the information. It's wonderful. And then I can reference it throughout the year and be like, I could have had 8 and now the line's 4.5, right? Or on the flip side, be glad you didn't lay 8. This is a truer number because X player got hurt or this team's without their quarterback this week, whatever. And you can actually kind of somewhat calculate what the drop off is between the backups, things like that. I think make it more for interesting talking points because John's absolutely right. There's guys like Brad Powers standing there in line, betting, going to the end of the line, coming back, betting it again. I mean, those guys, again, it's a large bankroll scenario, and I don't really like tying up my money for an extended period of time.
You got to have the bankroll, and you've got to put in the work. It's a lot of work, but there's definitely money to be made if you can do that. And you can also set yourself up for some middles during the season if that's what you want to do. Now, Kelly and I have had this conversation a lot of times. I think if you have -3 and now the line's -9, that you should just let your bet go. That's what I believe. But you can go for middles, go for sides if that's what you want to do. Anything else? When do you want to do another show?
I'm going to Italy for 2 weeks with Ariel for her birthday in July. So it's got to be after 4th of July before I go to Italy.
What day do you leave?
The 15th.
15th of July. Okay. Yeah, we'll figure something out. So we'll try to do a show. So you want to do one show in June, one show in July.
And I mean, we could do multiple shows in June, but what are we going to talk about in 2 weeks from now? More NFL? Are you going to be more prepared for the show?
I'm going to be watching the Euro soccer tournament.
Who do you like in the Euros, John Murray? You got a long shot in the Euros?
No. See, this is the truth. I'll just tell everybody. Because I watch English Premier League football very, very closely, right? And I don't watch any of the other leagues. I don't watch Germany or Spain or Italy. So when the lineups come out for these international tournaments, I look at England's team, and I'm like, oh shit, that's all the best players in the world on one team, because that's the only league I watch. Because so to me, it's like, oh my God, that's every best player is on the same team. And then I bet England to win every.
I don't think that's how this works.
No, they never win. They lose every single time.
I mean, I don't know anything about soccer. No, I do a little bit of stuff with soccer hosting, if you will, but I don't think that's how that works.
Every time.
I'm going to bet. I think it was like a couple of years ago. I had like a bet on Croatia. Yeah. I think there was a bet that I had. Carmine will send me random bets. I'll let you know. I will tweet out who it's going to be like a decent, like a 16-1 or something like that.
I think Italy's 16-1. They won this event the last time it was played. The last Euro was played in 2021 because of a pandemic in 2020. Yes. But yes, I'm going to bet on England. Let's talk next week or 2 weeks.
Fine.
Bye.